Diddy has joined the chat. No, he hasn't. He may soon though. I'll be honest, cause the way his sentence is looking. Why is it always a Sean, man? God damn, my name isn't even Sean. By the way, chat. By the way, I'm more Sean adjacent than Sean. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that when you put like the shit next to my name and shit like that, it says Sean C, and then you look at his like initials, and it's also Sean C. But I promise the correlations stop there. 50 months for Mr. Diddy Combs. He got almost max that you could get for this particular charge. It's just that as soon as, you know, he was found not guilty of the other, you know what I'm saying, the RICO and of the abuse charges, as soon as he was found not guilty of that, like, it was pretty much set in stone that he wouldn't be getting a crazy long sentence. Now, you're gonna watch, slowly but surely, some of your favorite celebrities who disavowed his behavior and came out with all these stories and said he was this and he was that, that were for sure thinking that he was going to get an insane sentence, coming out to say, you know what, let bygones be bygones, you know what I'm saying, forgive and forget, everybody deserves a second chance. I talked to him personally, he not even like that no more, I promise you. And to me personally, he's like a better man than he was before. I can vouch for him and all of that. All these people that had all these strong stances against Diddy, watch them waver as soon as he comes out. And I can't say that it's not understandable to a degree if you are within his proximity or around his orbit. This is an intimidating force. Diddy was not only a threat to women, he was a threat to all that he was around. Not because he was just looking at people from a sexual point of view, but looking at them as pawns on a chessboard and getting them to do whatever he felt like doing for the sake of his entertainment. The things that I at least saw discussed in that courtroom were disgusting to me only because it seemed to underscore only part of the issue that Diddy has, and he's gotten no assistance with or help this entire time. The issue with this sentence is the fact that he's gonna get 50 months, and this is going to probably be reduced to about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, because he's going to be allowed to do a program while he's in prison. He also may have time served. So that 5-year sentence, whatever this is, like you convert 50 months into years or whatever the case is going to be reduced. And this man is going to be out by the time I'm 31, 32 years old. He's still going to be young and active, or young enough to enact whatever, you know what I'm saying, plots that he wants to enact. By the time, you know what I'm saying, y'all are still within your age range. It's insane. Praying for his victims. Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're not going to get any solace. Like, they're not going to get any closure. They're not going to get any real sense of peace. Because, like I said, this has much less to do with the fact that they're not going to get any peace. Or I would say it's got much less to do with the fact that his sentence is so short, and much more to do with the fact that there will be a reintegration when he is released. Within the next year and a half to 2 years, when he's ultimately released, when he is reintegrated. And I heard that there was this speech that the judge was attempting to give to offer some level of comfort to the women that came forward initially, Cassie and whoever Jane is, kind of trying to like soften the blow. And this is just a situation where you can say nothing, basically. You're telling them to their face that, to an extent, like he's telling them to their face to an extent, I appreciate you with the gifted anonymous, what you went through and what courage it took to get to this point, you won't be rewarded for. What you went through and what it took to get to this stage amidst all the power that the person that did this to you has displayed amongst your entire history with them, what that proves to the legal system is there's no room for nuance in this conversation. Because had Diddy maybe sold a little bit of weed in his day, you realize, like, if he'd have done this, if he'd have sold weed 1 or 2 or 3 times, he'd be likely getting more prison time for that than he would be for what he's accused of right now. Despite the context involved, the legal system doesn't consider that. And to me, as somebody who survived whatever events that I had to endure when I was in Diddy's presence, I would feel hopeless as shit. I wouldn't feel like it was, I would feel like it was for nothing. Now, that might deter some people from coming forward in the future, and that might motivate others. You don't know. But the fact of the matter is, it's wrong. It's wrong. And I know that there is still a likelihood that he might even appeal this. That doesn't mean that he's going to get his, you know what I'm saying, his want. That don't mean that he's going to get the result that he wants at the end of the day. But there's options for him, despite the fact that he still only got a slap on the wrist. There's still more options. And I'm waiting on the nastiest nigga to come out and co-sign this man as soon as he gets reintegrated into the public. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the first nigga to do it. I'm looking at some of the people that y'all like co-sign now and the shit that they've done. Diddy has an amazing chance of coming back and people forgetting about this shit in about a year or two. Nobody gonna give a fuck about this.
That video with him beating Cassie told me everything I need to know about him.
Yeah.
I also don't understand why people online are using his race to say he's an innocent black man.
I haven't seen that. But again, you might sometimes, you know, you entertain one sector of the internet for a little bit too long. It'll get into your algorithm and you'll start to see it more frequently and think that this is like a norm for a perspective. It's not generally. I haven't generally seen anybody. For the most part, everyone seems to be on board with the fact that this is a nasty individual and a threat. Not only, again, I do want to make it clear that although he is in this position because of his violence toward women, he is also under this attack publicly because of his violence and his harm toward anyone that he is around. He's got allegations against him for inappropriate conduct from men, especially some of notoriety, violence against them. We have Cuddy's testimony. We have a whole bunch of other people. Didn't I think Wale was talking about his situation, despite how the description of it is like insane to the point of laughter sometime. It still happened, and nobody, I would feel like, should feel safe around Diddy. Yeah, if it was left up to the defense, he would have been out today. Not to say that that happened, but the fact that that was a possibility, it's just like, dude, what the fuck?
His behavior, they say, stemmed from untreated trauma and a serious drug addiction, and claim Combs is now sober for the first time in more than 2 decades.
Bro, because he's been fucking behind bars. What?
Afterwards, saying, quote, "Mr. Combs, I know you feel you are in a dark place right now, but these crimes were serious ones."
How could you feel like that? And I also hated the way the judge was talking to him at certain points. Like he had to, like, I don't know, brighten his mood or give him some sense of motivation. My nigga, this is the best case scenario for someone like Sean Diddy Combs. The fact that he got out of the RICO and out of the sex trafficking charges and then only was left with the prostitution charges, and there may be some other stuff that he got to face cases in the future, maybe, I don't know. But acting like, oh yeah, we need to really like motivate you to keep going. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Leading up into the sentencing, the judge was talking as if a very harsh sentence is demanded, knowing full well that you can't give him the time that you feel like he deserves because of his charges. It's like, why do this whole preamble if you know at the end of the day he's not gonna even be in a position, whatever, bro. I feel like public shaming is the only way to not reintegrate him. But even then, we are currently in a time where people want to justify the craziest of things. Seeing people showering themselves with baby oil was an example of this, despite the fact that, or despite the facts being presented showing that Diddy is evil, people will still justify his presence. There are times where we as a society should not be, or should be, monolithic thinking and not try to go against the grain, just to highlight how it is important to be a skeptic. Look, I'm understanding, but at the same time, society has failed me before. We love some insane people. And I say we, you know, generally speaking, but I'm just looking at the amount of people that may be into some fucked up shit that tend to rise to the top. Some of those are examples that people are fully aware of. You know what I mean? You know how long it took to get, what's his name? R. Kelly in the situation that he was in. It wasn't taken seriously despite people having a knowledge of some freaky behavior going on for years. So I'm just in the sense, or in the frame of mind of thinking that even when something may seem obvious, it may not be talked about for, I don't know, 10, 20 years later. People will look and look away, like, really quickly. They'll see some weird shit and then just keep going, like they didn't see any. We do need to be monolithic when it comes to, you know, being against certain behaviors, but at the end of the day, like, that'll never happen. There's always going to be enablers. There's always going to be a I see both sides ass nigga. There's always going to be a fence sitter, And when those people exist, guys like this they got like a easy way in. It's gonna be way too many of those types that some of them even have like positions of authority. Some of them even have like positions of power. Some of them have social equity. And they may try to use that level of influence to sway other people's opinion that might be on the fence about him and be like, hey, nah, but it's really not that crazy. You see what he actually got charged with, what he actually was sentenced with was this thing. Oh my God, it's even worse. It's even worse. Because now he can walk around and say, I didn't get sentenced for abuse. Now he can walk around and say, I didn't get sentenced for my RICO. I didn't get sentenced for like murder or sex trafficking. I got a prostitute. I got a prostitute, bro. That's all I did. If I'm Diddy, like I said, and I'm looking at my sentence, that's 5, bro. Complete a program while I'm in there. Get out in a year and a half, maybe 2 tops. I'm chilling. I just gotta wait. I hate the way the judge was talking to him. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Nigga, you gave him the fucking sun. What are you saying? Like, what? I feel like after a certain point, you have to understand your words aren't breaking through to this person. Action and results are the only things that are going to move an individual like this. He says that he's been humbled by the justice system or by the legality or whatever this whole situation has done to him. That means no amount of words. You think that a word would stop this man? Did you see how brutally he beat his at the time girlfriend? What do you think these words are gonna? You think fucking words from Dr. Martin Luther King or God forbid Jesus are gonna like infiltrate his mind and be like, oh nah, I see the error of my ways when I'm beating the shit out of my girlfriend in my 40s? What talking point do you think you can use to infiltrate a sick mind like that? Give the sentence, go home. Hey ladies, hey everybody that came forward, hey all his witnesses, all his accusers and shit like that. Legal system failed you today. Sorry. We'll get them next time or not. Keep it moving.